Lubabalo, you're in the Provincial Results Operations Center. What numbers are coming through there?
Yes, indeed, numbers are coming through, but the whole process has not been without challenges. As you have rightfully mentioned, we are told that there are some areas wherein there is still counting that is taking place, but I am now joined by the Provincial Electoral Manager, Mr. Siyabonga Maki, just to tell us about the challenges that you guys are encountering when it comes to the voting process. I understand that in some areas there's still some counting that is taking place. Can you give us reasons as to why is that the case?
Thank you, Lubabalo. Yes, indeed, there are 4 voting stations currently that are still doing counting. We expect that will be finalized in the next 2 hours. And all those voting stations are in the KST data area. The reason for that is nothing unusual. It is because, one, we have high numbers of registered voters in those voting stations. And because of that, we had long queues outside of the voting stations at 9 o'clock when we closed the voting stations. And what happens is that after 9 o'clock, everybody who is within the perimeters of the voting stations are allowed to stay and vote, and we stop voting when the last voter has voted. So that takes about, if we closed at 9, you find that at about 1 to 2 a.m. this morning, we were still doing e-voting, preoccupied with e-voting. But now, and then we started later on with the counting. So that is what is happening because of the high numbers of the registered voters.
All right. We do understand that in Bizana there are delays when it comes to the capturing due to allegations of manipulation. So can you tell us more about that?
In Bizana, there is capturing because after counting, the results are taken from the voting stations to the capturing site, which is in town where our offices are. And then at that point, you get to meet the political parties that are represented who are contesting the election. Now, what happened here is that some presiding officers submitted results slips outside of the tamper-proof evidence bag that we provide. We provide that to cap on cases where allegations are made that manipulation has taken place between the voting and between the counting station and the IES office. So to allay fears, we have since gathered the result slips that were left at the voting station to show to the parties that nothing has happened, because when we fill the result slips, we fill them in duplicate and we leave one copy at the voting station. So when we took those copies at the voting station and compared with what has been brought to the office, it was found that nothing out of the ordinary has happened. And now, in about 20 minutes, about 20 minutes ago, capturing started to happen, and all the political parties are satisfied that nothing happened in terms of a manipulation.
There were numerous community protests yesterday leading up to the vote. Can you tell us if that did have any impact with regards to the delays that you are experiencing?
Yes, there were areas where we had difficulties accessing voting stations yesterday, more because of the service delivery protests. 1 and 2 is where the communities were not satisfied with the candidate nomination by the parties. But in one glaring case, it is where the communities are not satisfied with the MDB boundary protest. They want to belong in this municipality, whereas the new demarcation takes them to another. Well, we can't say that did not affect us because we opened late in several voting stations because of the trenches that had been dug overnight on Sunday. And therefore we needed to deal with those in order for us to access voting stations. Now you might find that some people would have gone to the voting stations and did not find us there and turned around, so we lost those voters. But over and above that, all voting stations in the final analysis were opened in the Eastern Cape. There's no voting station that remained closed throughout the day. The last 2 voting stations around the Bizana area opened at about 12:30, and everything went smoothly afterwards.
Are you able to give us a percentage of the capturing in the province?
10 minutes ago, we were standing at 65%, at about 65% overall in the province. And then looking at the 3 big municipalities in the province, namely the 2 metros, Gqeberha and BCM. BCM is standing at about 26% and 28% in Nelson Mandela Gqeberha. And in KSD, they were about 65% completion of the capturing. So capturing is happening unhindered. And even the issues of network in some municipalities where we would have expected it to be disrupted by issues of network, nothing of the sort is happening. So we are happy capturing is happening. Capturing is happening as it is supposed to be.
Lastly, are we going to get the results on time?
Yes, definitely we're going to get results on time. Remember, as per legislation, results must be announced after an election within a period of 7 days. I can assure you that nationally the results will be announced way before that.
All right, thank you very much for your time, sir. That was the IEC official, Mr. Siyabonga Maki, giving that assurance that they will be able to give the results on time. With that, it is back to you in studio.
Thank you so much, Lubabalo. And let's just